Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And I'm back with some more rumors and corrections, some disinformation, misinformation, and verifications. There's this, as if you remember the last time we all talked, most of us had given out the good news that basically the courts had thrown out all the cases of Imran Khan's, and also the military courts were obliged to throw out the case. Technically, we will say that he was granted bail in each and every case of his, but unofficially, or if we try to say it in the layman's language, the courts basically scrapped the cases because they termed them as bogus. Now, here's another thing, is that as soon as they did all that, the next day you must have heard all the rumors and the so-called news. Remember, the mainstream media in Pakistan does not deliver news. What it delivers is unverified, unconfirmed, scripted, fabricated news, which means that is essentially rumors. Nowadays, in order to get actual news on Pakistan, you really have to turn to social media, because all the bona fide journalists of Pakistan have left the country, and they are continuing their practice, one could say, for the lack of a better word, abroad. So they are still giving you the correct information, as veteran journalists, as senior journalists, as genuine journalists who are actually doing their job, as opposed to the so-called journalists in Pakistan working in the mainstream media. Similarly, there are journalists within Pakistan that are also, they have basically turned to social media. So basically, if you need to get any real news, you need to go to social media in order to glean the information there, the correct verified information. Now, here is this rumor that suddenly spread that as soon as his cases were thrown out, the very next day the court called him in and all. But actually, what happened is that the Chief Justice, the Supreme Court's Chief Justice Bandial, if you remember, he has been constantly slandered and maligned by the illegal government, because he is basically the last man standing between them and the complete coup d'etat of the country, you could say, the complete overturn of the country by the illegal government. So basically, he is the last man standing between upholding the law and constitution and dismantling it. Because of that, he is in a tight spot, obviously, and he also realizes the fact that, which most of us as the public, we have been blaming the Supreme Court for bringing us to this stage in the first place, by shooting itself in the foot when it went after Imran Khan previously. I mean, I think the Supreme Court had enjoyed so much freedom in that less short span of 3 years, which it never did before, that I think it sort of went to its head, it went to the judiciary's head, and they thought that, okay, we're the almighty, all powerful, everybody has to bow down to us, forgetting that they were given this apolitical, neutral freedom because of Imran Khan's government, because Imran Khan was basically trying to uphold the law, and so he listened to everything that the Supreme Court had to say. That sort of proved fatal, because at the end of the day, the Supreme Court kind of gave that loophole that the US was looking for to send its minions, and the minions have been looking for that loophole to sort of topple the elected government. Well, now the Supreme Court is working much more harder than ever to uphold not only its apolitical stance and its neutral stance, but also its, you could say, its power as given by the state to maintain law and order, to maintain constitution, to maintain the state itself, the freedom, the sovereignty of the state. And because of that, now Chief Justice Bandial is under huge pressure, because on one side he has to face the personal attacks by Maryam Nawaz, who, again, I would question her position. In what position is she making personal attacks? In what position is she defaming and slandering an incumbent Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and why is it that she hasn't been charged for it? I mean, Imran Khan seems to get charged for things he's not even done, and he seems to get charged for things that are being done by the PDM members and by Maryam Nawaz. So I really would like to know, why is it that nobody has charged Maryam Nawaz as well as the sitting incumbent ministers in the illegal government for maligning a sitting Chief Justice of the Supreme Court? So basically, in the face of all these slanders and defamations and malignant attacks, he has still tried to maintain not just his position while it lasts, but also he is trying to make sure that no injustice takes place right under him. And it is because of that that actually this briefing, or you could say that this appearance of Imran Khan in front of the Chief Justice was to further elaborate and give a detailed, you could say, a detailed decision on why the case is being thrown out. And it was basically to do with the arrest. The arrest had to be addressed, the illegal arrest of Imran Khan that created that whole excuse for the illegal government to create a false flag operation in which they could again use that to dismantle Imran Khan's party and to further eliminate Imran Khan, which they have very miserably failed to do so, despite their various dogged attempts and their various pathetic attempts and their various, very pathetic flexes. So at the end of the day, Imran Khan flexed and he won. The Chief Justice flexed and he won. So much for them. So basically, how did they win? The Chief Justice put on the record the statement given by Imran Khan in the court when Imran Khan was first asked about the 9th May scenario immediately after the fact. If you remember, he was brought to court, he was made to appear, he was summoned by the Chief Justice and ordered to give his explanation or his point of view or his statement on it. Contrary to the rumors that were being spread by the illegal government through their minion journalists in the mainstream media, Imran Khan actually actively did condemn the violence, and he constantly asked for a neutral and open investigation. And also, he kept reiterating that he and his party members have no involvement whatsoever, and that if any of his party members are involved, they need to be brought to justice as well, because he basically denied any and all involvement with the incident of violence. He accepted that yes, protests, peaceful protests, which is something that he's been staging for 27 years, it will always remain, and that is the right of the people. But initiating active violence against those certain locations was not under his incitement or nor under his orders, and he had nothing to do with it. And obviously, how could he? He was already under arrest when all that scenario broke out. Because of that, that statement of his has been added to the details of the decision by the court, upon which the court has also declared once again that the arrest was illegal because he had already surrendered himself to the court of law, and that the premises of the court of law was breached. The sanctuary was violated of the court of law by the commandos or the rangers or whatnots that just came and literally kidnapped the former Prime Minister Imran Khan from the premises of Lahore High Court. And so once again, that whole incident was condemned as illegal. And the 9th May scenario was, again, as I said, I'll repeat again for a third time, it was added to the detailed decision by Bandial, Chief Justice Bandial, and that is basically what just happened. Now, but because of that, as As Saber Shakir explained quite nicely in his latest vlog, or you can say his latest vlog, wherein he gave a detailed report on how it works, because he was actually one of the founders of the Supreme Court Press Association, and he was the first Secretary General of it. So he explained how they formed this association with the then Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in order to be able to work on a more professional level with the judges, and because they were court reporters basically, and it was their job to report on any decisions that were made in the court of law, and to be able to have a background behind it and all. It was necessary for them to always meet the chief justice involved in any of those cases at the end after the ruling was made. So basically, that is a precedent that was set in a more organized fashion. Before that, it was never thus disorganized. Now the association has grown, and it is a proper association. And so the current members of the association, out of which 3 of those journalists had to meet Chief Justice Bandial in order to get the whole basic understanding before they put forward their report, or before they put forward their their take on the ruling made by the Chief Justice. So they had that meeting, which, as I said, was basically very normal for the press association. They always have meetings with the Chief Justice involved or the judge involved in the rulings, and before they give their report, so that they have a much better information, and a much better and much better content, you can say, verified content before they make the report. So this was again used by the illegal government's minions in the mainstream media, where they have tried to malign the Chief Justice once again, saying that he met so and so reporters in order to, create a so and so narrative and this and that. So this was all BS. The problem is, and the point is, as we know, they have already kind of, Zardari has basically shown his plans of how he plans to install himself and his son as future, prime minister and president of Pakistan, by simply, putting people of their own choice who are not even elected. For example, as they did in Karachi, they just put a man of their own choice as mayor without any elections. He wasn't even a contestant. He wasn't even elected within the party. He wasn't even qualified. And they just put him there, even though, as per the elections, it was the it was the Jamaat Islami that won. And similarly, when in Kashmir, he did the same thing. He just pushed his own people in. There was no real transparency in the elections. It was all rigged. The decisions were made before the elections were even gotten through, before the voting even, and it was already decided who was going to be there. At the same time, now in Gilgit-Baltistan, what they tried to do, because Gilgit-Baltistan already had their own provincial government, nobody had removed that government yet, and that government had a clear majority of PTI, because that is one of PTI's main bases, remember. So they illegally sort of removed the government of Gilgit-Baltistan, and they are trying to basically they're basically pretending that they're going to hold elections, but again, it's all illegal, first of all, and it's a charade, and it's just a farce. So they're basically again trying to pretend that they're going to hold elections, and they're just going to push their people in. So on that, that is where we stand right now. But the thing is, vote bank wise, they are all broke. They don't have anything to their name, especially Muslim League known, that is Maryam Nawaz and Nawaz Sharif's party. They have completely minus, not even zero, but they're on a minus when it comes to their vote bank. They've lost their base. Imran Khan is at an all high, as always. Because of that, they are still trying to steal his votes or break them down, or just basically break up his party. They're still working on that, but they have been very unsuccessful till date. The only way they can come into government is through rigging, and they have already started rigging, but now the whole world's eyes are on them. So it's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen, because I think it doesn't really matter if the whole world's eyes are on them. Although, yes, I am expecting that the overseas Pakistanis, those very extremely rich and powerful overseas Pakistanis, who these people were so pathetic enough to offend, those they have to come. They will be coming this month, if I remember right. So when they come and when they start their own investigative process, and when they start their own recording process and research with all the other relevant organizations that they're bringing with them, then I think we can hope for something better. Until then, I cannot be sure. Nobody can be sure, because rigging has always been a part of our elections throughout our history. There's not been a single time when the elections have not been rigged. And it was only once when Imran Khan won the elections that it was not 100% rigged, but it was still rigged enough for him to lose his 2/3 majority, which he would have gotten if the elections were 100% transparent. Now, you need to understand that at the moment, because Chief Justice Bandial has got very little time left before his retirement, he needs to give rulings on 2 to 3 major cases yet, which will completely help. You can say they will help turn the tide. So if he manages to give those rulings, then actually Pakistan can be saved. And if due to some reason he fails to give any one of those rulings, then the illegal government would still be able to have the upper hand, at least when it comes to the illegal reforms of constitution. One of the cases that Chief Justice has to give a ruling on. The other ruling that he has to give on is the NAB reforms that they're trying to make, that's and the so basically all those 3 major, plus they have tried to screw with the Chief Justice, the position of the Chief Justice, and the all the power that the Chief Justice should have in the Supreme Court. They have tried to mess with that, so he needs to again put that back to rights before he leaves. Now the thing is that will he be able to do that before he leaves, or will he be actively interfered with? Mind you, the Chief Justice did not take that lying down, the maligning, the slandering, the defamation that the journalists tried, as per script, or as per money given to them. They were bribed to initiate attacks against him. He gave them as good as he got, if not more. He actually very harshly reminded them of their place. He also reminded them of their ethics, and the of what a journalist's code of ethics is supposed to be. And basically he berated them in a very professional and a very harsh way, which was very good. He also flexed this way, which is good. So he has been flexing. Imran Khan and Chief Justice Bandial, they have been flexing, they have been winning, as opposed to the establishment, the army, and the illegal government, who have been very miserably flailing in their flexes. So that's something good, I guess. But as I said, this is Pakistan. One just doesn't know which way it can turn. We can only hope that they manage to reach the end goal that they're working towards, and that the public is hoping for, before anything gets worse. Otherwise, get ready to demand from America that, okay, if you want us to be a colony of yours, if you want us to start paying dollars, then you need to start paying us in dollars, maybe change our currency to USD, and give us a green card and a passport to boot. And now we come to one of the latest flexes by Imran Khan, which is, again, it displays the the ultimate miserable, pathetic situation or condition of our government, that the IMF actually had to come. Remember, this is in his latest speech or latest address to the nation. Imran Khan had explained why the IMF would have had to come and meet him, and that is because when he was in the government and when he was supposed to sign the whole standby agreement and all with IMF in order to avoid putting Pakistan on the brink of default. These same parties that are now part of the PDM, they tried to blackmail Imran Khan that they would not sign the agreement. They would not stand by him and signed the agreement with the IMF until he grants them NRO. And he refused to be blackmailed, and this is why they did not sign. And this is why when they took over, they had to go through the whole thing all over again. And then once again, IMF said that they will not accept anything unless these agreements are signed by not just the parties that are in the illegal government, but the party that is still part of the government in one form or the other, and which was the former government, and that is Imran Khan's party. Because remember, they might have tried to dismantle his party, but members of his party are still in the parliament and the assemblies here and there, and they are not completely removed from the government, so they are still part of the government, even if they're in the form of an opposition. So Imran Khan, just for the sake of the country, he has decided to work on this with them, because if he refuses to, if like them, he decides to blackmail them and refuses to sign this agreement, then Pakistan will most definitely be declared defaulter, and it would be, pushed to the brink. After all, getting Pakistan out of the out of the grey list and not letting it fall into the blacklist of the FATF is basically this is all a credit to Imran Khan's and his government's hard efforts, and because of that, obviously he cannot see his efforts go down the drain again, even though he's no longer prime minister. So there is another flex on to his credit once again. That is why the IMF was obliged to meet him at his place in order to get the agreement signed, in order to get his stand on it, his take on it, his vote on it. And obviously the pathetic mainstream media was obliged, because it's sanctioned and it's censored heavily by the government. Can you imagine that they actually blurred out the face of Imran Khan? I mean, that is the most pathetic, most miserable, most stupid, idiotic, moronic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But anyway, that is what it is. But yeah, you see, you cannot deny the importance and the power of Imran Khan. Even the IMF cannot deny his importance and his power. Even American government and establishment that have been dying to eliminate him cannot deny his power. After all, he is one of the most influential, most powerful figures in the world, not just in the country. Who are you messing with? This is actually being actively agreed upon and accepted and talked about amongst the members within the parties themselves, within all these 12 to 14 parties that formed this pathetic coalition. Every single gathering of every single member from every one of these parties, when they have their gatherings, it has been confirmed by various reporters, as inside information, that they have been talking about this very fact, that they have failed miserably in any and all of their tactics to subdue and eliminate Imran Khan, and that this latest tactic of theirs has also fallen flat. So basically, this is the main issue that is being discussed amongst members from within all these parties, that they have failed miserably, not just as a government, but as a body that was brought in to eliminate the biggest party of Pakistan and its leader. And also they have failed miserably when it comes to the economic crisis and the social crisis in the country. And because of their pathetic acts, because of their stupidity, they have forever cost their own political future. Their careers are on the line. So this is me signing out for now, until we get more. Take care, everybody. Khuda Hafiz.